Well, welcome from wherever you might be to this second video of yoga classes. And in today's practice we'll be stretching and strengthening our bodies, releasing the stress and tension we hold in our bodies, and creating a space, both physically and mentally, enabling us to slow down and to calm the mind. And today, perhaps more importantly than ever before, yoga helps us to experience a sense of stillness, enabling us to connect with that deepest part in ourselves. And if we take only a small part of this into our everyday life, it makes our whole practice far more worthwhile, as we're more likely to respond from a position of calmness, of compassion, rather than aggression or responding from our fight and flight response. And as we go into today's practice, please remember that this is your practice. Please practice at the level that you feel comfortable with. You are in control. Listen out for options and enjoy the class. So we'll begin the class with lying down in Shavasana as we connect with our breath. We have two options essentially. You can lie down in Savasana with the legs just falling away from the central line of the body, and just relaxing the arms by the side, or you can bring the knees up and let the knees fall away from the central line of the body and relax the hands on the belly. So find a position that's most comfortable for you, and as you close your eyes, just connect with your breath. Just breathe slowly, smoothly and deeply in and out through the nose. Let the inhale start in the belly and then rise gently up into the chest. As the breath slows and deepens, let go of any thoughts or distractions and allow the mind just to focus on the breath. Feel the breath as it moves in and out of the chest. Feeling it move through the nose, throat, windpipe and lungs. Just feel the chest as it rises and falls with each breath. And bring as much of your awareness and attention to your breath as possible. And as the thoughts return to the mind, let them go and return the focus back to the body and breath. In a book, the breathing book, Donafari says there is a truthfulness in the breath. When it is too fast, we are too fast. When it's agitated, we are agitated. When I listen to the intelligence of the breath, I feel that I'm guided by something much more reliable in my mind, my ego or my ambition. The breath is a reminder to stay present. If you'd like to open your eyes and come back into a seated position. And from here, coming up onto our knees, and working the tailbone down towards the ankles. We're coming into child's pose. So we'll bring the arms out in front and stretch out long through the fingers, stretching through the knees, ankles and hips, and out through the back, shoulders, and stretching through the arms. You might like to have the knees slightly apart so that we can come into the stretch deeper into the hips. And with each out breath, just see if you can let go and come into the stretch a little deeper. And now with the next breath, just looking up and walking the hands to the right hand side, keeping both arms straight and taking the hands to the point where you can keep the head between the upper arms and keeping the arms straight. And then press into the little finger on your left hand and feel the outside, the left side of the body, stretching from the waist through the abdomen, shoulders and out through the fingers. And then walking the hands back through the centre. Next breath in, walking the arms out to the left side, taking the arms as far as we can by keeping the arms straight and keeping the head between the upper arms. And now press into the little finger on the right side. Breathing in, and as you exhale, see if you can stretch that little bit further. With the next breath, walking the arms back. And from here, coming up into hands and knees position. This is where the knees are hip-width apart, directly underneath the hips. The hands are directly underneath the shoulders. We're coming into our cat-cow sequence. So we'll begin with the neutral spine, drawing the belly in and long to the crown of the head. Breathing in. Then as you exhale, arching to the back, pressing into the palms of the hands. Deep breath in. Feel the back of the rib cage expand. And as you exhale, just working the tailbone back slightly, lifting the hips and dropping the belly as we look up towards the ceiling. Deep breath in. And as you exhale, coming forward slightly, rounding the back up like a cat, pressing into the palms of the hands, stretching to the back. Deep breath in. And as you exhale, once more, releasing the belly, lifting the head, working the tailbone back, breathing into the front of the rib cage. And as you exhale, coming forward, rounding the back up, pressing into the palms of the hands, breathing into the back of the rib cage. And as you exhale, working the spine back into neutral position and hold. And from here we're going to raise the right arm and the left leg. And see if we can keep the shoulders and the hips square to the floor. Thumbs facing up for correct spinal alignment. The toes are pointed and we're reaching through the fingers. See if we can maintain a steady pose as we bring the chin in, keeping the length of the spine and drawing the belly to spine as we breathe into the upper chest, working the deep transverse abdominal muscles. Now if this is too strong for you, you can either place the hand on the mat or bring the knee down onto the mat. Now you've got the option to either continue to hold this pose or bring the right hand behind and hooking onto the left ankle as we work the ankle up towards the ceiling, stretching through the quads and stretching diagonally through the back. Breathing in through the nose, and either out through the nose or out through the mouth. Then release the foot, placing hand and knee on the mat. Other side, left arm, right leg. Thumbs facing upwards, toes are pointed, leg is straight, arm is straight. Lifting and reaching. Core activated, drawing belly to spine. And breathing into the upper chest. And see if you can keep the hip aligned to the left shoulder rather than sinking out to the side. And then you've got the option of either keeping the hand on the mat, both hands on the mat, or both knees on the mat. If you want to take it further, bring the left hand behind and hooking on to the right ankle. And then release. Tucking the toes in behind, lifting up the tailbone, coming into downward facing dog. This is where the hands are shoulder width apart, feet are hip width apart. And the aim is to get a straight back, long through the spine, lifting up the tailbone, lengthening to the crown of the head. And then gentle pressure into the heels of the feet as we stretch the back of the legs. Holding for 2 more breaths. And with the next breath, lifting up the right leg, straight up into the sky. If you'd like to take it a little further, you can bend the knee and work the foot across to the left shoulder, opening up through the hips, but keeping equal pressure in both hands. Now bending both knees and we're working the right foot through to the inside of the right hand. You might need to bring that foot forward if it's sitting back too far. Keeping the thighs lifted and the hips down. Then release the knee, relax the foot. As you breathe in, both arms come up out front. Then as you exhale, sinking to the hips, shoulders back. With the next breath, coming back up, placing the hands into heart center. And then working the left elbow across over onto the right thigh. And see if you can keep the elbows in line with each other as you look over the right shoulder. Now placing both hands on the mat as you bring the right foot back, coming back into downward facing dog. This time we're going to be lifting up the left leg, keeping the toes pulled back. If you'd like to take it further,
bending the knee, keeping the left knee raised as we open up through the hips. Then bending both knees. This time we're working the left foot through the inside of the left hand. Once again, we're pressing into the heel of the foot, keeping the thighs lifted and the hips down. Now release the knee, relax the foot, breathing in, both arms out in front. And as you exhale, keeping the arms straight, gentle arch in the back, sinking into the hips. With the next breath, coming back up, placing the hands into heart centre, and then working the right elbow across, over onto the left knee, as we look over the left shoulder. Placing both hands on the mat as we bring the left leg back, toes are touching, knees wide apart, working the tailbone down towards the ankles, coming back into child's pose. We're holding here for 4 more breaths. Then we'll bring the left arm in and placing underneath the right armpit. And relaxing the left shoulder, the face on the mat. As we keep the length in the spine and a rotation in the spine. With the next breath, bringing the arm through, placing it out in front once more. And bringing the right arm in, placing it underneath the left armpit. Just pressing that arm through a little further as we rest on the right shoulder. The next in-breath, bringing the arm through. You've got the option of either keeping both arms out in front or bring the arms parallel with the shins, resting the arms by the side. And taking 3 more deep breaths. And then placing the hands underneath the shoulders as we press back up. We come up into standing position, please. We'll do some balancing poses. So we'll begin with our classic tree pose. If you'd like to bring the feet together, then placing the hands into heart centre. And focusing on a point in front of you on the mat, on the floor. We'll bend the right knee and turn the knee out to the side. Either keeping the toes here on the floor or placing the foot on the calf or on the inner thigh. And with a straight back, as you breathe in, lifting both arms overhead, elbows back, activating every muscle in the standing leg. As we focus the mind and balance the body.
Then working the hands back into heart centre as we bring the right knee in front and step down. Transferring the weight onto the right leg, bending the left knee, the knee turns out to the side. Working at the same level as we were before, try to avoid placing the foot on the knee. Try to avoid placing pressure on any of the joints. Breathing in, elbows back, and working the hands back into heart centre. We bring the knee in front and stepping down. Just relax the arms by the side as you place the left leg in front, the right leg behind. We're coming into a warrior three. Bringing both arms overhead as we transfer the weight onto the left leg and pivoting at the hips, lifting the leg up behind, keeping the hips and shoulders square to the floor. The next breath, coming back up. This time we'll have the right leg in front and the left leg behind. Transferring the weight onto the front leg once more. Bringing the arms down and lifting the leg. Bringing the leg down, the arms up, and then bringing the arms back down. If you'd like to come back into a seated position, please. We'll do some work now to open up through the hips. I've got coming into the pigeon pose, which there's two options. The less intense option is to roll onto your back and placing the left foot over the right thigh, interlocking the hands underneath the thigh or onto the outside of the knee and working the knee to the chest, keeping the shoulders and the hips onto the floor. Alternatively, you can come up with bringing your right leg in front, left leg behind, and then rolling onto the thigh of your left leg as you work the shoulders back, the length in the back, length through the spine. If you want a little less intensity, just work the heel in a little closer to the thigh, the left thigh. If you want more intensity, bring the foot a little further forward. If you feel any pain in the right knee, please come out of the pose. Breathing in, and as you exhale, coming over the bent knee and either placing the hands out in front or placing the palms of the hands on the mat and resting the forearm on the back of the hands. And just see if you can relax, really relax into the pose, releasing all the tension in those large muscle groups. Now placing the hands next to the shoulders as we come back up. If you're lying on the back, then please put the opposite ankle over the opposite knee. Otherwise, we're working the left knee in front, shoulders back, lengthening up through the back, lengthening up through the crown of the head. Lifting and reaching, working the right hip flexors forwards and downwards. Breathing in, and as you exhale, coming over the bent knee, once again, either keeping the arms out in front or bringing the hands in and resting on the back of the hands. The next breath, placing the hands underneath the shoulders as we come back up. And if everybody could just come into a seated position with your left knee in front and the right knee by the side. Now placing the left hand on the outside of the left knee as you breathe in, coming up onto the knees and swinging the right arm through. Lifting and reaching, opening up through the shoulders. As much as we're lifting from the waist up through to the fingertips, we're pressing from the waist down into the knee. If it feels right for you, looking at the inside of the palm of the right hand. And with the next breath, coming back down and swinging the legs across to the other side. The right hand on the side, breathing in, bringing the left arm through, pressing through the left hip, opening up through the left shoulder, reaching to the fingertips, the left hand, stretching through the shoulders, stretching through the torso. With the next breath, coming back down and keeping the legs where they are, raising the arms overhead, placing the hands behind the head, interlocking the hands. Breathing in, opening up through the armpits, open the armpits up, breathing tall, straight spine. Then as you exhale, left elbow down. Inhale back up. Exhale. Do 5 on each side. This time, breathing tall once more. We're going to twist across to the right side. Breathing in, and as you exhale, looking over your right shoulder. Inhale back through the centre. See if you can keep the elbows back, breathing in, exhale. 3, 4, 5. Then release. Swinging the legs across through to the other side. Left knee in front, right knee to the side. Keeping the torso up vertical, interlocking the hands behind the head. Breathing in, coming out to the right side. Inhale, back through the centre. Exhale. Inhale, coming back up. Exhale. Inhale, back through the centre. 2 more. Coming back up, straight spine, breathing in, twisting this time to the left side. Keeping the armpits open. Exhale as we twist. Inhale back through the centre. And then release. We'll do some work now to continue to open up through the hips. We're coming into a squatting pose.
So if you'd like to have your feet perhaps a little bit wider than hip width apart, maybe to the edges of the mat. And then coming down into a squatting pose. And you might only be able to find that you can come down to this level today. That's fine. If you can, coming down a little bit lower. And see if you can keep the lower back straight and placing the hands the inside of the knees, the elbows on the inside of the knees as you press the knees out. Stretching through the hips, the knees, ankles, the wrists. Now you can hold this position. You want to take it into a stronger position. You can place the hands on the mat, pressing the elbows out and the knees in as you take your weight forward. And you might like to be lifting one foot off the floor or possibly both feet off the floor. And from here, coming back into a seated position, you might like to place the hands in front, bring the right knee through and the left knee through. We'll do some work now to strengthen our core. So we'll have the knees bent in front. You can place the hands on the mat. The most important thing in this particular sequence is that we keep the back straight. So we'll begin by lifting the feet off the floor. And this might be the place where you'd like to work. You can bring the hands off the floor, shins parallel to the floor, or lifting the feet. Try to keep the back straight. And bringing the feet back down. If you'd like to lie on your mat, keeping the knees bent, resting the arms by the side, and bringing the knees up and having the shins parallel to the floor. Breathing in, lengthening, straightening the legs, straightening the arms. Exhale, lifting up, working the knees into the chest. Inhale. Exhale, strengthening. Breathing in. Exhale. 2 more. And hold. And placing the feet back onto the mat, just resting the arms by the side. We'll just bring the feet together and let the knees fall away from the centre line of the body. Close your eyes. You might like to place the hands on the inside of the thighs and just connect with the breath as you breathe deep into the belly and feel the energy inside the body after the strength work you've just completed. With the next breath, bringing the knees back up, just work the feet so that they are a little bit closer and the feet are hip width apart. We're coming into bridge pose. You might be able to touch the heels of the feet with your fingertips. You might be able to hold onto the ankles. As you come into bridge pose, you have the shoulders firmly anchored onto the ground. Breathing in, lifting up through the hips. Just working the knees a little closer. We should feel an inward rotation in the thighs. And there's a straight line from the knees, hips through to the shoulders. You might like to clasp the hands behind and shrug the shoulders under. You've got the option of bringing up the right knee and lifting it up straight into the sky. Bringing the knee back down and placing it onto the mat. Left knee in, straightening the leg. Bending the knee and placing it onto the mat. Now release the hands, release the shoulder blades, and slowly working the back down onto the mat, one vertebrae at a time. And we'll release the right leg, move the hips 5-6 inches across to the left, bring the left knee into the chest, interlocking the hands over the knee. And then you bring the knee into the chest. The toes on both feet are pulled back, exhaling all the air out of the lung. And as much as we're pressing into the heel of the right foot, we're squeezing the knee, the left knee into the chest, keeping the shoulders on the mat, straight back. Then release. We're working the left knee across to the right side of the body with the aid of the right arm. Looking over your left shoulder. And only take the knee as far as you can keep both shoulder blades on the mat. And bring your awareness to where the stretch is occurring in the body. And where you feel the tightness, see if you can breathe into that area. And as you exhale, see if you can let go and come to the stretch a little deeper. Next breath, coming back through the centre, placing the foot on the mat, adjust the hips back to the right, straightening the left leg, right knee up, adjust the hips 5 or 6 inches across to the right, and bring the right knee in, as we work the knee to the chest, toes pull back, stretching through the hips, the knees. And then slightly release and work the right knee across to the left side of the body, keeping the knee raised as you work the right arm across, palm facing down, looking over your right shoulder. You can imagine your body being like a wet washcloth, where we're wringing out all the toxins out of our body. Bring the knee back to the centre, adjust the hips to the left. You might like to bring both knees up and either place the hands on the knees or place the knees into the elbows and squeeze the knees into the chest, stretching through the lower back. Release, placing the hands on the knees and just drawing circles with the knees. So massaging the adrenals and the kidneys. And circling in the opposite direction. And then placing the feet back on the mat and turning to your right hand side, and with your left hand pressing back up as we come up into a seated position. If you'd like to lie on your bellies, please, we'll do some work now to strengthen our back. We'll begin with both arms out in front and the thumbs facing upwards. With the chin tucked in, we'll lift up the right arm and the left leg. See if you can keep the arm and the leg straight. Lifting and reaching through the fingertips and through the toes. And then bringing the leg down and the arm down. Other side. Left arm, right leg. Thumbs facing upwards, toes are pointed. And bringing the arm down and the leg down. Placing the hands underneath the shoulders, pressing up onto the knees apart, toes touching, coming into child's pose. Tailbone to ankles and relax. Creating space, physically and mentally, to release the tension in our minds and body. The next breath, coming back up, and we'll bring the right knee through, the left leg through, coming into a seated position. We'll finish off with some hamstring stretches. So bringing the feet apart, bringing the feet wide apart, and see if we can keep the torso nice and straight. Keeping the toes pulled back, and then very gently bringing the torso forward. Be careful not to overstretch. See if you can keep the chest lifted as you work the torso forward, opening up through the hips. Next breath, coming back up. Just coming into a cross-legged position for a moment. We now come to the meditation part of the class, where we have the option to either stay in a seated position. You might like to use a bolster to sit on. Keeps the strain out of the hamstrings. The aim is to have a straight back. The aim is to stay alert and attentive, but with a relaxed, open, spacious awareness. Or alternatively, you can lie on your back and have a bolster underneath the knees to help the strain out of the lower back. And resting the hands either by the side, palms facing up. Or you can just lie in Savasana, where the feet are in line with the hips and the feet just relaxed, letting them fall away from the centre line of the body. So I'll give you a moment to get yourself in a position that's most comfortable for you. Learning the art of meditation is just learning the art of just being. So find yourself in the most comfortable position.
over the next 10 minutes, just let go of any tension in your body and thoughts on your mind. This is your time. Let's begin by bringing our awareness back to our breath like we did at the start of the class. Just noticing the breath as it comes in and out of the body. And as we begin our meditation, we should note that a peaceful world is experienced through the eyes of a peaceful being. And peace does not mean to be in a place where there's no noise, trouble or hard work. It means to be in the midst of all those things and still be calm in your heart. Through a regular meditation practice, you learn how to still the mind and experience the sense of stillness and peace. Medical science now shows that a regular meditation practice rewires the brain, so that you learn to see things from a different perspective. A perspective of connectedness and greater compassion, which changes our thought patterns and behaviours. In the depths of all beings there is a stillness and peace. In the depths of the great oceans there is calm, even when the surface is stirred by storms. The mind is the same. The depths of the mind are always calm and still. All you need to do is to deepen your experience of the depth of the mind, is to let go of the surface and go within. You can either go within or go without. The choice is yours. Shift your awareness to your breath and watch the breath as it moves into the body on the inhalation and out of the body through the exhalation. Just notice the cool air passing through the tips of the nostrils as you inhale, and the slightly warmer air as you exhale. Breathing in calm, breathing out tension. Slow breath in. And as you exhale, extend the out breath a little further. The in-breath, feel and imagine peacefulness flowing into your being. Every exhalation, feel your inner tension flowing out of you, leaving your mind calm and relaxed, like a deep, still lake, without a ripple. Stay in this place of peace and tranquility for just a few moments.